first thing we want to do is pre-mix some of our colors, specifically our leaf colors, so they're ready to go when we're ready. I like to do kind of a yellowy, maybe a yellow green, and then more of a sage green color, so I have two different options. Then you're going to also want to mix up your wash colors, so a very, very faint color. I've got kind of a red-orange going on, and we'll mix that up to get going. Once you have those mixed up, we can start with our very light wash. So this is going to be almost a translucent color, and you're going to want to take advantage of the shape of the brush, use the point, and drag it down in kind of a C shape until you get to the bottom, bring it to the right, and lift up. Then you're going to make a second petal, and you want to make sure you predefine the petal so that you don't actually have them overlap. You want white space between these two petals. Bring the bottom so it's closer together and a little more bulbous at the bottom. And if you don't like your top, go ahead and give it a little bit more definition at the top. Then we want to hint to the inner layers of the petal, or the back layers, by giving them two little crowns, just little kind of triangular or diamond shaped parts that fit into the contours of your current petal shape. Then you want to work quickly so that your water doesn't dry on the paper and mix up a darker pink or whatever color you're going with, but a more pigmented version. And then you can just hit, when you get that more pigmented area, you can hit it along the sides and especially on the bottom. And if you need to, you can kind of soak up some water from your paintbrush and redistribute that a little bit. We want to hit the sides and the bottom of the tulip with more pigment in order for it to really pop. You can also add in some of the yellow if you're just thinking it's a little bit lifeless. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. While your tulip is still wet, if you want some of that faded look to it, that's when you want to add the colors. If you want to add some more of the stripes, like what I just tried to do, you want to wait for that to be a little bit more dry, and that will help define the little bits of stripes in the petals. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our other ones. And again, we start with the first petal with our tip, and then we do a C curve, and if we need to, we drag down from the right side. We move on to the second petal, and the key part of this is keeping the white space between the petals, both at the back as well as at the front. Removing if you have too much water, and then adding the darker areas along the sides, adding bright spots, working back and forth between these. They're flowers, so it's nature, so it can look how you want it to. There are a ton of versions of tulips. There are some that are multicolored, some that have little red tips on the tips of the petals. Kind of go with what you're feeling that day and also what the water is giving you. And then I usually add in a third tulip just to show a different angle of it. I want this to be a little droopy, which you don't want in a bouquet, but it does add some interest into your painting. The real key part of this is to imagine a bulbous flower in different states of opening. So the very first one we painted was a little more opened, so it doesn't become more thin at the top. The second one is partially opened, and this one we want to be more closed. But the key is to keep that shape in mind. Try to make confident strokes with your very light wash. Leave space between the petals, and then define the sides and bottoms of the petals to give it dimension with more color. Once it's dried a little bit more, I do like to come back in and add the dark pigment in some kind of stripy motions up the petals, as long as it's dry enough, it seems to actually really add a lot of character to the petals. If you look at a petal, they're not usually smooth. They have kind of little creases, and that will help them look a little bit more like actual petals, as well as when we do these stems, it instantly turns this back into tulips from just kind of strange blobs. So to do the stems, you want to do a very confident line down using your main green color. I kind of tap at the base of the tulip. It kind of runs in if you still have a little water, and then that looks nice because it kind of looks like the ball that the stem holds the flower on with. And then for the leaves, you want to take advantage of the shape of your brush. So you start with the tip and you push down and drag so that it becomes larger. Just like that. And it's good to have these overlap with each other because flowers are kind of messy. Their greenery is messy. Don't have them only coming straight out from the sides. That will look a little bit strange. While your stems and leaves are still wet, you want to tap in some different greens, maybe some darker greens, some yellows to further define different areas. If you make certain areas more vibrant, they'll pop to the front, and the ones that are more muted will stay in the back. And you want to just kind of play with these until you have enough definition where they stand out from each other. But you also want it to still look like watercolor, so it's okay if they run a little together. The hardest part of learning watercolor, if you've practiced at all, is learning at what points to add different colors in the drying process so that they have that nice balance of standing apart but also floating together. And that's just something you have to practice a little bit. You can add any final strokes in once everything else is dried. I like to work individually on each flower or individually on petals across 3 so that I'm not, by the time I'm done with one, then the other one's ready to go. And when I move backwards, it's dry enough to work on it again. And that's how you paint some tulips. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. If you're local to Northern Colorado and would like to take a class, visit rebelunicorncrafts.com to see my class listings. If you'd just like to see what I'm up to, visit my Instagram at rebelunicorncrafts, or if you'd like to see my art, you can visit my other Instagram at LaceyWalkerArt. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a magically creative day.